Worst book I ever read. I think Cat in the Hat is 10 times better. What?
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Tabitha Gabrielle, and if you somehow managed to find yourself on my first ever YouTube video, welcome. We're on a picnic together, okay? So what we're going to be doing today is I've provided Tiffany with a list of my top favorite books ever, and she went through and found some of the most negative 1-star reviews about each book, and I think it'd be really fun to just get my raw reaction on that. I have no idea what she's found, but she was laughing pretty hard at some of them last night, so my expectations are high. So first on the list today we have Redeeming Love. This is a book that will reach down into the very depths of your soul and just touch it deeply.
I don't know how to use this.
You're fired.
Lindsay says it is
Misogynistic and religious brainwashing. And listen to the 1-star reviews. This book congratulates kidnapping, Stockholm Syndrome, harassment from the main character, and hurtful gender roles. I wish that the story said that Angel went back to the brothel and got her money she deserved, and got the money she deserved, and bought her own house, and live independently. Then maybe introduce a love interest. Women don't exist to be saved by men. This story shouldn't exist. Couldn't make it past chapter 4.
I do remember thinking, I really wish that she would have just been able to get her money and start her own life. But she tried. And if you would have read till the end, okay? If you would have read till the end, it ends in a way you probably would have enjoyed. So you missed out. What it's illustrating is God's love for us. And even though Angel runs away multiple times, God's love is never ending and it will always find us. And in the story of Hosea, God used Hosea to show his love to Gomer because there was no one else in her life that was willing to do that. And in Angel's circumstances, it was very similar. And he lets her run away that third time. But again, you wouldn't know that if you hadn't read till the end of the book.
Cupid Love 01 says
Disturbing at best. If you want to mentally rape the audience, you might as well go into all the gory details instead of implying and leaving the reader wondering what truly happened. The ending was rushed, no real healing or closure. The hero wasn't really a hero. The trailer looked beautiful, and I thought that this would be a worthy read. I was wrong.
So wait, you said the trailer looked beautiful? So did you watch the movie or read the book? The book reading experience and the movie experience are two completely different things. If I would have written it, I probably would have left out some of the gory details and things like that. But I can understand why Francine Rivers included that in the story. So second on the list we have The Masterpiece by Francine Rivers. If you can't tell, Francine Rivers is one of my favorite authors ever. As an author, Francine Rivers just has a way of thinking and taking on perspectives that I wouldn't normally think of. And so I really, really love her writing style.
from Ascalise.
No again. I chose this book too quickly. I wanted an easy read romance without descriptive sex and noted the 5-star reviews. Well, no descriptive sex, but plenty of God, Lord, Jesus. It seemed like all of the characters had an epiphany and discovered God. I was raised, and I still am, very much a Christian, but I stopped reading about 3/4 of the way in because the characters became unreal to me. Just like in sex novels, too much is too much. I guess this is what a Christian romance / born-again Christian novel is, and I know they are not for me.
I'm sorry. Even if I don't like a book, I feel like I'm going to read it till the end, just because I'm going to give it that chance, okay? So, I don't want to hear any more of these people saying, this is a 1-star read. I only read 4 chapters. I'm sorry, no. You've got to make it till the end, because it doesn't mean anything unless you do. So, we're taking a little bit of a different turn. Next on my list today is Lord of the Flies. I read this back in May, and I actually have a reading vlog from where I was reading it back in May, and now it's October. So I feel weird posting it now, you know what I mean? But who knows, maybe I will eventually. I feel like in a way it changed my perspective, or it heightened my perspective on humanity. Ever since finishing this book, I have sworn that I will where's that gonna go? It's gonna go here, okay? And it really kind of made me think about things very deeply, and for that reason, I would call it 5 stars.
First one comes from Kayla Price.
Very old-timey language, bored me to death.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Listen here, Kayla Price. I don't understand how you could think it was boring. Just how? I was traumatized reading this book.
Okay, this next one comes from McDNA. And they say,
Why do people enjoy this terrible book? Dry read, savagery, little boys dying, gruesome imagery, sadistic nonsense, something I had to read for school.
I was a sheltered homeschooler, and I never read this in school, but I really wish that I had. I think for a middle school read, it would be a little bit too much. I don't think they'd know how to process it fully, but I think it's very, very thought-provocative.
Noreen says,
Boring book. Sucks. My eyes started to shut every time I started to read.
How? I couldn't put it down.
this one comes from Ashton Bell, and they said,
I was right. I read this book in high school and hated it. I decided as an English teacher and adult I'd try it again. I still hate it.
Why, though? You didn't say why.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
You're just like, I hate it. You can't say you hate something without saying why. Like, I hate eggs. I hate eating eggs. Why? Because the texture is bad. But if I just said I hate eggs, you wouldn't know what I meant. You wouldn't know what kind of eggs I meant. You wouldn't know, like, if I hated eating them, if I hated, like, them being thrown at me. Look, you gotta go into depth. You're an English teacher, okay? I know you know how to do it. Tell me why. It's what made the story impactful. Next up on my list is the absolute beautiful classic
Legend.
that is The Hobbit. Amazing piece of fiction, the foundation for modern fantasy. I'm open to discussion on that, but I consider that fact. Tiffany promised me juicy reviews on this one.
This one comes from J Hotels, and they just say,
Hi. The worst book I ever read. I think Cat in the Hat is 10 times better. What?
FBI? FBI?
So boring. Officially the worst book I ever read. Don't waste your money in buying this book. On a scale of 1 to 100, I would rate it a -3. Please do not buy this book. Do not waste your money.
Okay. Cat in the Hat.
that's the sentence that triggered me.
Cat in the Hat!
Nobody loves me. Not one tiny hunk.
You could have chosen any number of books, and you chose Cat in the Hat. Respectfully, you're uncultured, and respectfully, you're wrong. Okay?
From Posh522, and they say, The Hobbit, spelled with 2 B's and 2 T's.
I can tell you before you even begin, you're wrong.
The movie is probably good, but for me, the book stinks with a capital S. Tried to read it twice. Each time got farther, but to a childish of a story.
They
That's
don't know
how it's worded.
They don't know how to grammar.
It don't take a lot to please some people. 1 star is not low enough. Give me back my money.
What?
Okay.
You're wrong.
Okay, this one is from MC Carter.
Nope, still don't like it. I've tried and tried with this book. Way back to the dark ages. How old are you? When the cool kids in high school had copies of The Hobbit tucked in their lockers and book stacks. My biggest beef with this book is that it's way too wordy and self-important. As if Tolkien felt as if he had been that
No, wait.
almost as if Tolkien felt as if he had been assured he was writing a classic. I tried again recently and felt the same way.
Okay. I can kind of see how you're saying, like, he wrote as if he knew he was writing a classic, because I feel like in his mind it was. Yes, he is very wordy, but it's just got that British brilliance to it. The 5th book on my list today is The Book Thief, and I don't have a physical copy of it, so just pretend I'm holding it right here. What I really love about this book is that it takes place during World War II, and it highlights the perspective of a young girl growing up in Germany, and it's narrated by death. It's just got all of the elements to be one of those deep, impactful reads, and it was
this is the one that got me last night, especially the ending. Henry Marshall Reed says,
Totally sucks. Not in prose. Not worth 1 star. Read 2 to 3 pages with great difficulty. Didn't have a clue what the author was talking about. Just snippets of information that pieced together to tell a story. Looked ahead to see if the style had changed, and it had not. Absolutely horrible way to write a book. I dropped it like a bad habit and threw it in the fireplace for kindling.
I know another bad habit that you need to throw out. If you're in the habit of just burning books that you don't like, how disrespectful. Give that to like the local book thrift store or something. Somebody is going to enjoy that. Ah! Somebody, meaning me, and people like me who have good taste in books, okay? Don't be burning books. That's so disrespectful.
this one is from Amazon customer, and they say,
Garbage. I usually make it a rule to read at least 100 pages of a book before deciding if I like it or not. I confess I only made it to page 40. I couldn't stand to waste any more time. There are too many good books out there to invest either time or money in this book.
You said that you like to read 100 pages of a book, but you only read 40 of this one. And by page 40, I think you're still probably just getting narration. I guess it does kind of move a little bit slow in that regard, but it's just so interesting.
Molly B says,
Just no. I didn't finish the book. I didn't want to read a book narrated by death.
Fair point. Okay, I mean, if you don't want to, that's not your cup of tea, that's totally fine. I thought the perspective was really interesting and unique.
this next one is from Bradley Bell, and they say,
Poorly written and strange. I couldn't even get past a few pages because this book seems to be written from the perspective of God, and if so, is blasphemous.
I personally would think that the character was more along the lines of being narrated by the devil. If that's not your cup of tea, that's fine.
Caroline says,
Depressing, depressing, depressing. I do not know why this book has such good ratings. It started off depressing and just went downhill from there. And to top it off, it's narrated by some angel of death. He never really identifies himself exactly. And what is it with all the bold writing every second page? Not only that, but the narrator kept jumping ahead and spoiling what was coming next. Not that there was anything exciting coming next.
Did this person finish the book? I will say, I was very crushed when the narrator did tell about something that was going to happen in later chapters, much later, but the death of a certain character was mentioned way before it actually happened. I think that that also added something to the story because after I knew that that was going to happen to that character, everything that he did after I knew that was therefore even more impactful. I can see where you're coming from with that statement. I understand why the author did it, and I think that it ended up being a great thing. Last, but certainly not least, on my list today is The Last Battle. This is the last book in the Chronicles of Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. I read all of the Narnia books when I was younger, obviously, but this one really stuck with me. It was the first book that ever made me cry. For that and many other reasons, it is on this list of 5 stars today. Look at Jewel. Isn't he beautiful?
blood dripping off his horn. This next one comes from Reader from the Northeast. Very
Solid.
descriptive.
Solid.
Loved the earlier 6 books, but couldn't really stand this one. The reason might be that I am not Christian, so a lot of the doom and gloom stuff simply did not resonate with me as much as it might with people who understand where C.S. Lewis was coming from. The first time I read this book, all 7 in one sitting, I literally could not believe what I was reading.
Wait,
The Last Battle.
you read all 7 in one sitting? Each one's at least like 4 hours long, minimum. If you truly did that, go
Thanks
you,
to
I guess.
you.
But also, you have no life? Question mark, question mark? I appreciate that you read them, though. So,
Yeah, like actually read them unlike
Yeah.
some people.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely give you credit for that, so.
Roya Anvar says,
Awful. If I had the energy to describe how bad this is, I still wouldn't be able to describe how bad this is.
that's all. That's all they said.
If you're gonna put the energy into leaving a negative review, why not put the effort into leaving a negative review? Is that all?
No, there's one more.
Oh, one more. Here we go. Last one.
E. Blake says,
Destroyed everything worthy in the series in one stroke. This book retroactively ruins all the other books in the series. It makes all the previous adventures and struggles pointless and reveals the grand fate of all the brave characters to be meaningless.
dramatic.
Yeah, I can't relate. I think that it was a fantastic book for many reasons. that's the outro. I'm about to go eat breakfast. So I'm excited. What is happening? What is Okay, bye guys. I hope you have a great day. the Mitchell the Mitchell Jackson hee hee.